God bless everyone tonight. How's everyone doing here? All right, we're live on YouTube and we are live on Facebook. Okay, cool. So I kind of taking a break from my normal series, Gospel of Jesus Christ. I was supposed to be on Roman numeral 6, but I did not get the Gospel of Jesus Christ message prepared. It's kind of been an off day for me, but I'm going to do my Flat Earth flyer tonight. And hold on as I get situated here. I like to get myself airing on my phone so that way I can see you guys on there. What's up, Josh, JD, Brad, Shannon? God bless all you guys. Yeah, Flat Earth flyer. See it? Okay. Bible teaches flat earth. And it says, I just wanted to go over it. This is what I hand out downtown. And this is from a guy named Nathan Thompson. And this is just one of the many flat earthers that I've studied, that he does a lot of great work. And it says, did you know the Bible teaches flat earth? A mass awakening is happening, or was happening, until YouTube censored flat earth. They censored us. They shut us down. So now if you try to search flat earth on YouTube, you're only going to see all the globe earth and mockery about flat earth. That's all you'll see. You have to scroll way down the list on YouTube videos before you even get to any legitimate flat earth teaching videos. Well, I wonder why. I wonder why they had to censor it, because there's no victims in flat earth. It's science. It's just a science, and it's what many people believe the Bible teaches. So how can you censor that? But that just shows how powerful the movement was becoming, that they had to censor it and shut it down on YouTube. So now it's really hard. It's hard to learn about flat earth now. That's why I find it important to do this on here. A mass awakening is happening, or was happening, before we were censored. The Bible clearly teaches earth is flat, stationary, and immovable. Time for God's people to learn this truth. Then John 3:12, if I have told you earthly things and you not believe, how can you believe if I tell you heavenly things? So that's Jesus's words. And by the way, that's the main thing. Jesus is Lord. That's Jesus's words. If you don't have Jesus at the end of the day, every knee will bow, every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. What's up, Whiska Greg? Or is it Greg Whiska? God bless you. So yeah, if you don't have Jesus as your Savior, none of this matters. But you'll never know the kind of deception we're under if you don't understand that you don't live on a spinning space ball. So we're going to go over that this is a Bible says flat earth flyer. I've got other ones. I've got stacks of this stuff. Because it's just important, and these are the basics, and if you can't get people past the basics, then if they're not going to look into it after these basics, then they're just not going to get it. But these are the basics. 1, geocentric Earth. This is the top 10 places the Bible teaches flat Earth. 1, geocentric Earth. God says Earth is geocentric with the sun, moon, and stars all locked in the firmament, firm. And that word does mean solid, firm, rakia in the Hebrew, solid. They translated into Greek as stereoma. Again, they understood it to be a solid structure, not just air and gas and an expanse of never-ending gas. That's not what the word means. Then it says Genesis 1:16 and 17, and God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. So notice that he made 1 sun, 1 moon, and the stars. And nothing about planets. That's because planets are just wandering stars. Planets are not other like Earths or, something you could land on and possibly live on. That's not what planets are. They're just wandering stars. And so God made stars. He didn't make a whole bunch of suns. It doesn't say that. It says he made 1 sun, but science tells us that stars are these big gaseous balls, that are just big. They're just distant suns. That's what science tells us, but that goes against the Bible because the stars are something different. He didn't make a bunch of different moons, a bunch of different suns, a bunch of different planets. That's not biblical. That's not according to the Bible. That's pseudoscience of today. And the Bible also talks about stars actually being angelic entities. The Bible talks about the stars being angels or angelic entities. So stars are not big, giant, gaseous balls, distant suns, okay, like science tells us. Heavenly bodies are for signs and seasons. There is no stellar parallax. Otherwise, we wouldn't have constellations for thousands of years. The created sky is a perfect clock. Exactly. So the constellations, are God made those to tell us the times, the seasons, to help us keep track of time. It's a great, big, perfect clock, and it always comes back around the same. As we go through the seasons, we see the same thing take place over and over and over again. We don't see stellar parallax, which that is where, if they say the Milky Way galaxy is the whole Milky Way, our sun, our Earth, our planets, the solar system, all of that is traveling through the ever-expanding universe at 2 million miles an hour. Plus, the solar system is traveling around the Milky Way galaxy, they tell us, at 420,000 miles an hour. Plus, the Earth is moving around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Plus, the Earth spins at 1,000 miles an hour. With all those movements, you wouldn't be able to see the same constellations. The constellations would change. But God gave us the heaven for a clock for times and seasons, and that's how we tell what season we're in, is by the heavenly bodies. But that would all be random, and that wouldn't be like a perfect clock. If it was just a big bang, if we were traveling at all these speeds, Polaris wouldn't stay right above the North Pole at all the time. So that's the point of that. It's way too perfect. There's no parallax. It just rotates like a plate in a circle. That's what the heavens do. It just rotates like a plate above us, like a circle. And then the dome is what causes us to see, like on time lapse. When people do a time lapse, you see like a circle, and as you move your camera, you'll see different patterns. Well, that's because of the dome. That's because of the dome, the firmament dome. Okay, I got to keep going here. 2, stationary and fixed. God says earth is stationary and fixed on immovable pillars. Psalm 104:5. And it's got a picture there of a time lapse of stars. Every scientific experiment to prove the earth moves has failed. And yes, that includes the Foucault pendulum. Foucault pendulum. That has failed. It's not always accurate. Thumbs up from somebody. Thanks. God bless Kevin Keto. And then number 3, flat as a seal. God says earth takes shape like clay under a seal, Job 38:14. And then you see like a signet ring there, and it presses the clay like you would close up a letter with a clay seal, presses it flat. That's how the earth is talked about. It never says exactly the earth is flat because it has contour. You know, it wouldn't even be accurate to say flat because it has contour. So a word picture like a clay seal, that's much more accurate. That's perfect. That's an inspired word picture. The firmament dome, number 4. God says earth is covered by a firmament dome structure. Genesis 1:7. You read that right. Even NASA admits we can't leave low Earth orbit anymore. And then you see a picture of a sundog. That's where the sun makes a funny reflection off of the dome. Yeah, even NASA admits that, they call it the Van Allen belt. It's a dangerous area of radiation that they went through with no problem for the moon landings, but now we can't get through those. Why can't we get? And one of their own NASA employees says, we destroyed that technology and it's a painful process to build it back again. We never got through it. We never got through the dome. We never can and we never will. There's a Bible verse that talks about God is the one who puts them down from heaven, who keeps them out of heaven. That's in Isaiah somewhere. We can't go up into heaven. The Apollo moon landings, that's Apollyon, the angel of destruction over the bottomless pit. Revelation 9:11. Apollo, it's got occult, satanic references in it. It was to deceive the whole world to believing we live on a globe and that the heliocentric model is the right model. God bless Paul. God bless Andrea. God bless Laura. Number 5, 2 lights. God says the moon is self-illuminating. Mark 13:24, Genesis 1:14. God is very clear that he made 2 lights to rule the sky and that the moon gives off its own light. Also, direct moonlight is colder than in the shade of the moon. Research it. So if you're in the shade in the moonlight, if you go into the shade, like under a shade tree or whatever, in the shade, it's warmer If you step out into the moonlight, it's colder. So the indication about the moonlight being colder than in the shade is that the moonlight is a different type of light. It's a cold light. If it was reflecting the sun's light, it would have to be warmer in the moonlight than in the shade. The shade should be colder, just like in, when the sun's out, if it's really hot, you go get in the shade to get out of the sun because it's hot. Well, it's different at nighttime. The shade is warmer. It's only by a couple degrees, but the shade of the moonlight is actually warmer. So the moon is not reflecting the sun's light. There's something else going on there. But God says he made two great lights. So it's almost as if the moon is giving off its own light. So that's number 5. Number 6, ends of the earth. God says creation is complete, not expanding. Yeah, they tell us all this bogus about the ever-expanding universe, and everyone wants a photo of the edge of the earth, which I've provided that. But no one's satisfied. Well, I want a photo of the ever-expanding, where the universe is expanding into nothing. And how can it expand into nothing? Nothing doesn't exist, right? So how is it that it's expanding into nothing? How can it expand into something that doesn't exist? So it's just a complete contradiction. But yeah, God completed the creation after 6 days, and then on the 7th day he rested. So that shows us that the heliocentric Big Bang pseudoscience mythological globe earth model cannot be correct according to the Bible. Ends of the earth. Over and over, the Bible speaks about the ends of the earth. A ball does not have ends. No, you just keep going around and around and around and around and around and around. There's no end. But on the flat earth, you hit an end. You hit ends. So the ends of the earth. Number 7, the sun halts. God stops the sun to stop the day in Joshua 10:13. Joshua commanded the sun to stand still. Right? He didn't command the earth to stand still so that the day would hasten not to go down, that the sun wouldn't, that it would stay daytime longer. He didn't command the earth to stand still. He commanded the sun to stand still so that he would have more daylight to win the battle, right? So earth is not spinning. The sun and the moon move above the earth around polar center. Yeah, as their paths expand and contract annually, alternating every 6 months, causing seasons, 24-hour daylight in the north, and sun analemmas. That's a sun analemma. Sun analemma is where if you stand in one same spot all year long and take a picture of the sun from the same spot, like one time per month, take one picture per month or something like that, it'll create this figure eight, where in the winter time it makes a smaller loop, and in the summertime it makes a larger loop because the sun's making these larger, faster circles, and then in the winter time it's making these smaller, slower circles. And that's something they used to include that on globes, but I think once they realized that was a giveaway, that the earth is flat, they stopped putting that on globes. They stopped putting that in plain sight, and they even changed it to a perfect figure eight, which is a complete lie. The sun analemma is a giveaway of flat earth and what the sun actually does. And also the Bible talks about how the sun travels in a circuit in Psalms 19:6. So a circuit, that's basically a circle, but it means in electricity it has a starting point and it has to complete and come back around to the same starting point. You have to complete the loop, the circuit. So it's moving in a circuit. That's what Psalms 19 says. And the Bible talks about the sun moving nonstop. It says it over and over again. The sun moves. And so do our plain common senses tell us that the sun moves. God bless Brad, Tammy, Aaron, Andrea. Let me see if anyone came on YouTube. Chris, what's up? What is scary is why all 200 countries are lying about fake space. All the leaders are the fallen angels. I think we're in hell right now. That's what Chris says. Interesting thoughts. But yeah, you'll see that here in a minute, that at the end times, the countries all collude, come into collusion together and give their power to the beast to deceive the whole world. That's what this is about. That's how you start to see how that's happening. Okay, number 8, water is a natural level. God says water is level, not curved. Job 37:10. And it says something like his breath straightens the waters or something like that. But yeah, it says straight. When it turns to ice, it becomes straight. And straight is not curved. It doesn't say it ices over and becomes curved. It says it ices over and becomes straight, like a straight line. So water is straight, according to Job 37:10. And it is. It's level. It's flat. You can observe that water's flat. See how our common senses have been completely denied with the globe through indoctrination? Every movie you turn on, the first thing you see is a spinning globe. That's how they do it. I know a lot of people are like, no, come on, man. Yeah, that's how they do it, is indoctrinating the mind, burning a picture into your mind. It's kind of like watching pornography or something. Once those pictures are burned into your brain, you suffer. You can't get those images out. That's why pornography is so destructive. But it's the same principle of burning into our brains. Everywhere you turn is a spinning globe on TV. So the TV is nothing but an indoctrination tool. That's why you need to unindoctrinate yourself and listen to me, right? Or listen to something different, right? So number 9, okay, yeah, and it shows some pictures there of the flatness of the bodies of water, and then 120,000 feet up, 20 miles, it's still flat. You can't see curvature from a private balloon someone sent up. This is so interesting. So the earth is not round like a marble, correct? Correct, exactly. So it's round like a pizza pie. The Bible still calls it a circle. That's what we're getting to. Number 9, earth is a circle. God says the earth is a circle disc, not a ball. Earlier in Isaiah, the word for ball or sphere is used, a very distinct difference. So Isaiah knew the word for ball. He used it in Isaiah 22:18. I will toss you like a ball. But he did not use ball to describe the earth. He used the Hebrew word for circle. Chug, something like that. And and then he goes on to describe the the firmament as a tent to dwell in. So what's a tent like? Tents are not a globe. Tents are not a sphere. No, obviously a tent is like a dome. Anytime you're in a tent, you're in some kind of like a dome structure. That's what most camping tents are, is like a dome, right? So that's what he describes. It is he that sits upon the circle of the earth. See, he sits enthroned. It describes his throne as being above the circle of the earth. So the dome sits on that circle, and it's a dome separating the waters above from the waters below. He sits enthroned on top of the dome, and that's where, remember, Jesus ascended up to God's throne. He didn't, on the ball, on the globe, there's no up or down. It's all relative. Like Australia, up is that way. For us, up is that way. So it completely distorts, so we don't even really have up or down. Again, it completely messes up our natural thinking, the globe does. It twists everything backwards. So God's throne is literally above our heads. He's looking down, watching every move we make. And the inhabitants are like grasshoppers. He stretches them out. He stretches out the heavens as a curtain and spreads them out as a tent to dwell in. So there you see how the firmament dome, rakia, solid thing is like a tent to dwell in. We're living under a tent or a dome, firm, solid structure. Just can't stress that enough. And then number 10, space is fake. God says space is fake. Genesis 1:6, water above and water below. Why would anyone try to build a tower to heaven if Earth is flying through space? Ever thought about it? Genesis 11:4, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens. The Tower of Babel, they tried to build a tower reaching unto heaven. And this was shortly after the flood, when everyone spoke one language. They still had a lot of the same, they would have passed down from Noah a lot of the technologies they had before the flood. Noah was able to build that huge ark. They were advanced. They lived a lot longer. They still lived 200, 300, 400 years around that time. More like 200 years, I think. People were still living long lives. So you were using a lot more of your brain in those days. And they knew they were going to build a tower all the way to heaven. And then God had to confuse their language, because he said, surely they'll succeed at whatever they want to do if I don't confound the languages. And that's why now today we have different languages. And notice how in today's day, how we're getting close to a point where we got everything global, global. It's all about globalization. Everything is about the globe, globalization. And we're in a place where you can connect so much easier, and we're becoming more of a one world, new world order. That's what they're trying to do. And with technology and the internet and the information age, you can literally type in stuff and you can translate it into a different language on Google. So we're getting to be to that same place like at the Tower of Babel, where we can pretty much figure anything out. So that's number 10. Yeah, water above, water below, and the water did not come down, Like in Genesis, it says, God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let let it divide the waters above from the waters below. So you got a dome, and even like the Nabre, the Catholic Bible, just says dome. Let there be a dome in the midst of the waters. So a dome is a good translation of firmament. It's the same idea. Some translations say dome. So yeah, water above, and it didn't come down at the flood. The water did not come down at the flood because David prophesied in Psalms 148:4, praise him, ye heavens, and ye waters that be above the heavens. So some people think all the water came down after the flood, but it didn't, because David still knew about the waters above the heavens. So yeah, that's an important one to understand. And then the final last page, NASA lies, serpents everywhere. Those in power love to hide their satanic agenda in plain sight. One method is through iconography, like company logos. Do you find it odd that the serpent or vector symbol is used in almost every space-related organization? This is just a small sampling. And then you have all these, because a lot of different countries have these space, and they're all colluding together, these space organizations, and they all use the vector symbol, the V, the serpent tongue. That's what NASA's is, right there. The serpent. See the vector, the serpent tongue? That's what it is. They're worshiping Satan. They're surrendering their power to the beast. That's what it says in Revelation, that the kings of the earth will do that. And remember, the UN flag, the United Nations flag, is a flat earth map. So they're purposely lying to us. This is a purposeful deception to gain control over the world. And then you got, of course, satanic math in the globe. Earth revolves around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. There's that 666 that it talks about in Revelation. Curvature of 1 square mile is 0.666 feet, because it's 8 inches per mile squared. So 8 inches in the first mile, 8 out of 12, that's 0.666. Earth's actual tilt is 23.4 degrees that the Earth tilts on its axis. That's 90 degrees minus 23.4 degrees equals 66.6 degrees left over. So satanic math. And then NASA's budget, $56 million a day, it says. I thought it was 52 million, but either way, they're getting huge amounts of taxpayers' money. Why? To give us fake Photoshop CGI images of the earth? Amen, bro, Nathan Roberts, sorry. Yeah, so 52 or 56, some people say 58. I Googled it one time. I was pretty sure it said $52 million a day. Only to give us CGI images and to deceive us and to act like they went to the moon when they didn't. You can pick it apart fairly easily. That's a lot of money that people are paying, and a lot of people are getting broke by taxes. I'm one of those people, self-employed. Taxes are very, hurt me bad. I mean, why are we giving them money to lie to us? That's all they're doing, is lying to us. So yeah, a lot of people say it doesn't matter, but it matters big time. When you find out NASA means to deceive in Hebrew, oh yeah, NASA, or actually it's Nasha, is the Hebrew word for to when Satan beguiled Eve. It means to beguile when he tempted her in the Garden of Eden. And then NASA, there's Nasha and NASA. Actually, NASA means to lift up. They're very similar. The only difference is one little dot over that S. If you put the dot on one side of the S, it says sh, like SH. If you put the dot on the other side, it says S, like S. And NASA means to lift up, like rockets, to lift up, to deceive. That's what they're doing. They're lifting up rockets to deceive. Those rockets just go right up and come right back down into the ocean. Nobody's in those rockets. They're just rockets. They just go up and come down into the water. That's all they do. To lift up, to deceive. Resources. Check out these Bible-based flat earth films and content providers on YouTube. There are many, many more. So now remember I said it's hard to research flat earth because they censored flat earth. YouTube censored it, and it was exploding because it was such an awesome truth. People were waking up like crazy. I was one of them, and Celebrate Truth is one of the good channels. They even have out Scientism Exposed 1 and 2, a couple documentaries that are good. I think you can just watch those documentaries on YouTube for free. Celebrate Truth is a good channel. Matt Long with Woketown on YouTube, he's pretty good. Rob Skiba, he's really good. Zen Garcia. Nate Wolf, I don't know if it'll show up. Yeah, Nate Wolf got fired for truth. He got fired from his being a pastor at his church for becoming a flat earther. Fired for the truth, man. Hey, why do you think that I'm not trying to become a pastor anywhere? Because you don't get to be a pastor as a flat earther. You'll get fired like this guy did. I mean, that just shows how it's such a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing. The heliocentric globe model is the seminal scientific deception that lays the foundation for lies like the theories of evolution and the Big Bang. As true Bible believers, we can't keep defending these lies. We can't keep defending the lies of a Big Bang cosmology. I know it's scary. When I first came into this truth, it took me 1.5 years to come out of the closet about this, about flat earth. But I had to, because I realized that the heliocentric model lies against the truth. It's contradictory of God's word. And really, this is where we lost the battle first, was in cosmology. Then evolution came in later. We lost our foothold because we let cosmology slip away 500 years ago, or a little over 500 years ago. Copernicus brought it into the churches, and the church loved it, right? And they said, yeah, that's great. Let's support that, when it went against Scripture. Someone gave me a heart. Thanks. Big Bang cosmology, guys, ever-expanding universe, supports evolution, supports that we're stardust, supports that our ancestors are fish. We gotta turn away from these lies. That's why this is so important, and to understand the deception that we're under. We're under a huge, astronomical, literally, deception right now. That's how it shows we're so close to the end. The end time. We're in the end times right now. Okay, websites, testingtheglobe.com, celebratetruth.org, Who We Are, the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion is a group on Facebook with over 125,000 members. There is no cursing or insults allowed. If you decide to join, please respect the rules. Feel free to add your friends. Yeah, so that's Nathan Thompson's group. He's just a good Christian guy. I really like him. And yeah, let's see if I got any other. Hey, Lighting Up the Darkness. God bless you, man. On YouTube. Heading to bed. Okay, I probably missed him. This is why every city has planetariums. Yep, it's hidden in plain sight that we are under a dome. A planetarium is always a dome. It's so satanic, though. I'll never attend one again. Yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah, so thanks, guys, for coming on YouTube. And then Carolyn, God bless. James Leonard, I lost you. Come on, man. Stick with me, bro. Jesus, God bless. Matt Childs, God bless. Jason, God bless. Stephen, God bless. And everyone else. Randy, God bless. So yeah, that's everyone. That's everything. And that went longer than I thought just to get through a flyer. So